What's up, everyone? It's Roger and Abe here from DisKingdom.com with another episode of the DisKingdom podcast. And on this episode, we're going to be discussing all the recent closures and changes going on at Hollywood Studios over in Walt Disney World. So, Abe, did you just get to see all of this stuff that's going on over there?
Yes, everything is closing. Don't go there. That's pretty much what's happening.
Yeah, there's a whole host of stuff there. You know, Star Wars Land is coming in, and they are certainly, without a shadow of a doubt, there is going to be some massive changes. I mean, I know there's some closures over in Disneyland, but Hollywood Studios is basically being demolished in half. There is so much closing there. So first off, Disney announced that, well, 2 weeks ago we had the Phileas and Ferb meet and greet going. We had the Osborne lights are gone. The the Lightning McQueen and Mater meet and greet is gone. Now they've announced that the lights action stunt show is going as well, but that takes up a huge amount of space. That's going to be closing. They've also announced that the Earful Tower is going to be being removed. They've also announced that the the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids play area is closing. There's also going to be some closures of there's a whole host of different food areas that are being closed as well. They're closing down a lot of it. You've got the Pizza Planet area. The restaurant is going to be closed down as well. And that's being closed for about 8 to 9 months while they refurbish it. Rumors to be possibly something entirely different, like another pizza place, maybe Muppets related. Writer's Stop is being closed. The Monsters Inc. meet and greet is being closed. Walto's Grotto is being closed. And the Studio Catering Co. has been closed. Now, all of this is happening because they are building Star Wars Land and also building a new Toy Story Land. So they are literally knocking a huge chunk of it. There has been, basically, Hollywood Studios is going through a massive, massive change. It's it's going to be renamed. They are rebranding it. It's completely changing.
Yeah, it will no longer be Disney's Hollywood Studios. It will now be Disney's Hollywood Studio. No plural, because they're all being torn down.
it's just a really just. I mean, I think the trouble is they've got such a big job to update that park. That so much of it is having to close down for it. There's still going to be a lot to do in the parks if you're visiting in 2016 and probably into 2017. You know, you've still got lots of the attractions and stuff. But I find as well is they removed the hat, and now they've removed. They're going to remove the tower. Kind of rumors going around that they might end up moving over to the Disney Springs and be used over there. Right. I think it's just the thing that they have to do something, and they've literally just whole areas that are just being closed off. I think the park, when all this stuff is done, is going to be fantastic. Hollywood Studios is going to have a massive push in probably 2 to 3 years when that thing fully opens. That is going to be the main area to go to of all the new attractions. It's going to be the new fantasy land of what we saw with Magic Kingdom a year or two ago.
You know, it almost seems like the Disney second park per se, or what they look at the second park. I know in Florida, you have 4 different ones over there. Epcot stands on its own, and so does Animal Kingdom. But I'm just saying, like, if you look at California, if you look at definitely Paris, and now obviously Florida, it's like the second Hollywood studio type park is the ones that are getting massive makeovers. Obviously Paris still has a little bit of ways to go, but I mean they've also improved a lot of things there too. So it obviously makes sense that Florida gets a nice little facelift, and adding not only Star Wars Land but Toy Story Land too. That's kind of impressive.
I think as well, like, I don't know whether or not, like, the idea of, like, I know it's the same in Paris, where you have this, like, Hollywood Studios thing, and it's the same for both parks, actually, both in Paris and in Florida, where it doesn't flow the same. It never quite flows the same way that Disneyland does, or even Epcot, or even in some ways Animal Kingdom does. There's no, like, it all seems a bit higgledy-piggledy, thrown in together, and I think, these parks, they need, Hollywood Studios, it needs an update. There's a lot of stuff there that, I think the motor show is fantastic. The stunt show is always been good, but it needed more, like, constant updating. changing it, keep moving around. Because I know, like, when we saw the stunt show in for example, last time, you know, it's like, well, you're it's the same show that we saw a few years ago, or they weren't changing things enough. But it takes up so much space that can be used for other things. You know, all the meet and greets and all the rest of it. I mean, and the restaurants and stuff, they can just, you know, the meet and greets, they can use those characters in another area, or they can move into something else.
Right.
But the park needed a new lick of paint. And I think they've now, you know, you've got Star Wars and you've also got Marvel to bring in at some point as well, because I'm sure that, you know, plans are in motion. I know they are specifically for like Paris, where there's so many rumors about, and even over in California, of Marvel stuff coming into the parks. Florida is a bit more trickier, but they've got these huge brands and they need to make the most of them. And certain brands like Star Wars is either, you know, we have to do something. Star Tours is not enough now for Disney. You know, they want to make this, it's a huge franchise. Star Tours and a Jedi Academy is not enough.
Yeah, no, and honestly, this is definitely a huge push to basically kind of like scale down the hype of the wizards in those areas.
Yeah.
And kind of bring it back to the Jedi, you know, the Force type of it, because these lands are supposed to rival amazing lands like, you know, Universal has built with Harry Potter. I know California, our Universal is going to open the Harry Potter world in 3 months, so it's going to be interesting. But obviously, for Disney to maintain that popular, you know, crowd pleaser per se, and they did an amazing job with Cars Land out here, because it definitely submerses. You know, it's very you have a lot of like consistent ambience, like you're surrounded by it. This world, I mean, 14 acres, you're supposed to be completely engulfed in this amazing world. And I'm assuming they're trying to do the same thing with Avatar Land over there as well.
Yeah. But also, I think like Toy Story, the Toy Story Land is going to be a great pull for Hollywood studios, sorry, for families and smaller kids, because over in Paris, there's like a Pixar place, and there's like there's an RC racer, there's a slinky thing, and there's a parachute drop. So there's like 3 Toy Story attractions all like next to each other. So I've seen it firsthand, and the kids run in there, and there's lots to do. And I know they've got one over in Hong Kong as well, with a similar kind of attractions. So we don't know if necessarily if they're going to bring those attractions to it. To be honest, if they did bring them, they need to change the way the queue system works, because they're dreadful in Paris. But it was just the load times are so long. There's a massive queues all the time. But that is going to work, and it's a big family thing. And kids growing up now in the last 10 years, Toy Story and Pixar is what they know and what they are going to be familiar with, you know. And I think it makes sense. Toy Story is going to be around forever, and they can keep it's not going to age. They can keep rebooting it. You know, they've got Toy Story 4 coming. I'm sure they got 5, 6, and 7 lined up for the next 10, 15 years in the background, because it's just an evergreen. They can bring new toys in, it's just and new kids coming in. So Hollywood Studios is going to get a massive. It's just unfortunately, they're having to make a lot of closures. It sounds like a lot. In some ways, with Disney, it was like, right, we are just going to come out in January and go, we're closing this. Get it out of the way. Get people used to it. A lot of it is kind of superficial little stuff, you know. It's that has to be cleared. I think the only one for me that really stood out was the Stunt Show, because of the amount of space and the size of it. You know, that's a 40-minute show. It's a big attraction.
You're talking about the car stunt show, not the Indiana Jones one, right?
Yeah, the car stunt show. I honestly think they need to dump the Indiana Jones stunt show as well and redo that and do something different, because it's old. I mean, I remember watching. It's so old and fashion, and you know, Indiana. I mean, especially like you guys have got the attraction up there in Disneyland, and the one out in Japan's awesome as well. And in Paris, we've got the roller coaster. You know, you can do something with Indiana Jones. But the stunt show just takes up so much space, and it's just so old-fashioned. It's been there since the park opened. I remember seeing it when I was, 20-odd years ago.
I think they should update it and include a nuclear. No, I was gonna say a nuclear blast and stunt guys in a refrigerator. That would be kind of cool. See if it works out.
It wouldn't have. I think it's even that figure. Like, if they'd done something when like Crystal Skull kind of give it a new lick of paint or done something with it. They didn't even do that. It's just. I know they want to.
It's probably why.
Yeah, it's probably a good reason why not. But it would have made sense to do something with it. It seems to take up a lot of space that could be used. And
Anyways, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff going over at Hollywood Studios. I'd love to know your thoughts. Comment below. Get in touch with us. We've just opened up the our DisKingdom Lounge, a Facebook group where we're talking all things Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars. So come over and join us over there. There's a lot of park chat. There's a lot of Disney
Absolutely.
fans. Park chat has been a real big push, and it's something that we want to do. It's going to be a community, and so if you are listening to us on the podcast version, definitely worth checking out our group.
Yeah, join us in that lounge, man. Grab a cup of Joe or a cup of tea.
Good
glass of wine.
Yeah, and also just a quick shout out as well to our Patreon, Ethan over at sorterapps.com at Magic Band Collectors for being again a supporter of the site. If you are on iTunes as well, you can subscribe and also give us a review there. And finally, you can also find us on all the different items as well. So a big thank you to everyone for joining us this week, and we shall see you guys in a later video.
Later, guys.
Laters.
Adios, amigos.
Adios, amigos. On that note, on that bombshell, see you guys later.